Hi guys, my name is Galina and I'm happy to be with you today. Tell me your first image that comes to your mind when I say the word gambling. Just write down in your comments the first image, the first picture you see. Can you imagine that when I was thinking about gambling and when I entered the office of Endorfina company which provide online casino games, I have met a lawyer. Can you imagine that lawyer? His name is Jakub Kolomičenko and he's answering today our questions and my question, what does lawyer do in Endorfina, in casino, in online game provider?
Well, there's so much things that I must handle it in order that the players can play our games at home or at his mobile device.
According to law.
According to law, exactly. The thing is that there is not much more regulated business than the gambling actually is. The casino industry is very well regulated, not very well, that's the point, we will talk about this later, but it's really heavily regulated, the regulations are all around the world, so to actually be able to work in this environment, you must know something and unfortunately you need a lawyer for it.
But can gambling venues operate officially without all these integrated responsible gaming, gambling categories and everything?
Well, the important word in this question is officially.
Officially, yes.
I'm afraid officially not, but in that I'm not trying to say that this is not actually happening.
But you're going to Zurich conference,
Yes,
where there is a special unity of gambling lawyers who gather together and discuss something about law and gambling without any gambling and without any gaming. What are you going to discuss?
First of all, this is not only the gaming players, this is also the operators or owners of the casinos, marketing people from marketing, basically everyone from the industry will be represented, like every position.
Mm-hmm.
But in our panel we will be discussing the responsible gambling.
What is responsible gambling? For me, responsible gambling is oxymoron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but either responsible, either reputation or gambling. How come it is connected?
So, I know that my position is not to ask the questions, but do you believe that all gambling is irresponsible? Is not responsible?
It's a question like about drugs, alcohol, and all this stuff that, in fact, it is officially not restricted. We can consume it, but at the same time, if we eat too much, if we drink too much, if we gamble too much, it's bad for us. So it's not responsible for us, for our budget, for our kids, for our family, etc.
Once again, the keyword is keywords now. It's too much. There's nothing wrong with a little drinking, having a beer. Like to have a beer. Smoking, yeah, whatever. Chocolate also. If you don't eat 20 types of chocolate bars per day, it's alright. Same goes with the gambling. So, if you bet on your favorite team, if you go to casino every now and then, if you basically use your money wisely to have the entertaining, which should the gambling brings you, this is what the responsible gambling means, and this is what we always encourage people to do when they're trying to gamble.
Okay. The end of last year, there was a case in December when in the United States, two American nuns, I'm sorry guys, but two nuns, they came to casino and they have it was $500,000, I guess. Quite a lot. And that was money for lunches, of course, of children, for swimming classes, etc. After that, I have heard history from you, a story about a teacher, also in United States.
No, it was actually here in Czech Republic.
It was in Czech Republic. You see, it's widespread. So it was in Czech Republic, the teacher, what did he do? He also lost some money.
It was about 400,000 Czech crowns, which is about, how much is it? It's like 15 to 20,000 euro. Basically, he just to the money which has been also for the swimming class, lunches, everything, went to casino still.
Okay, this is irresponsible consumption, for sure.
Yes.
What can you do about that?
Well, the first thing what really surprises me was the reaction of the public. I was so surprised by it, no one actually blamed the casino.
So who is to blame? Teacher or nuns?
Yeah.
Or God?
Yeah,
Or
this is the original opinion of the public. You know, simple answer to a very complicated problem. However, how is it possible that someone walks into the casino? It's not the beginning of the joke, but it's the reality.
Yeah.
Someone walks into the casino and starts spending money without no one is asking what's the source of the money. Can you actually go to the bank and ask for credit or loan in amount of 20,000 euro without the bank doing some basic due diligence on you? Of course you can. So how come did the casino let you to spend this amount of the money without asking the questions? And of course without any responsibility, which was, by the way, I don't know the American case, but in Czech Republic there was absolutely zero responsibility of the casino. This is not really responsible, and this is actually why we are trying to push the idea of the responsible gambling, because how does that help to the industry? Everyone will think that we are crooks. I'm going for a beer with my college mates, and I'm saying, oh, I'm doing it for a casino industry, and everyone thinks that I'm killing, baby seals.
Yeah.
This is not like this, it's legitimate industry, but there's still some, hopefully just some little entities which spoils the good name of the industry, which brings the harm to all of us.
Is it kind of modern fashion right now? Because earlier, I don't think there was such a trend to think about casinos as about something responsible. For me, it goes like with eco, with
yes.
green movements, etc. Is it this slow fashion? Is it trendy thing?
I hope it's not, but it is obviously how the society is evolving. But you think about it from this perspective, about the evolution of the society. So it's not that far away when we were torturing people to get them admission of the guild. From that we developed this civilized process we are having now. Also the law is developing in other fields, not only in the criminal law, but also in the gambling field or in the financial services. So of course, what was legal 50 years ago is illegal now. Same goes back to the past with 500 years. What was legal 500 years ago is not acceptable now. So maybe it's a trend. I hope it's not. But I believe that if this trend will be treated smartly, it could actually bring some benefit to all parties involved in the gambling.
What is mechanism for online casinos to responsible consumption? What they can do about the client?
First of all, they should ask the questions. If there is
online,
there's always the support, and you should have this know your customer procedures on place, that you should know who gamble. You should verify the ID. You must verify the ID to protect the minors from gambling in the first place. And then, when you have a customer or a player who plays and bets in average 1,000 euro per month or 100 euro per month, and suddenly out of nowhere he starts betting 5,000 per week, and you don't ask any questions. I don't think it's the right approach. So you can do this. You can also suggest him or let him to set up some self-restriction manners, which means that the player can actually set up the amount for this day or for this session, how much he can afford to lose, or how much he wants to gamble. And basically features like this, which will actually ended up your profit not being that huge. I mean, your profit, meaning the casino's profit, won't be that huge. But from the long term, so I have a feeling that we all will be benefit from it.
Yeah, and it's safe. So it sounds like for online casinos, it's easier to control client and to make safer all his gambling and to make his consumption more responsible than for offline casinos. Is it right guess?
It's quite hard because first of all, it's all being part of the electronic process now. In land-based casinos, you have the face recognition cameras, and it's all connected to the computer, to the user profile, and you know a lot about the visitor of the land-based casino, probably the same amount of information as in case of the online. However, there is one catch, and this is the ongoing verification of the ID. For the first time, when you set up your user profile and everything, you must submit your ID, you must submit your driving license. It must be verified by your bank account, everything like this. But this is only for the first time. What about all the other times when someone else is getting connected to, when the player gets connected to his account? What if, for example, his kid finds out his information, his user data and password? So this kid can easily connect to already existing profile and start gambling and maybe develop the gambling addiction or do something bad with it. So this is what actually is the disadvantage of the online. Also, one of the biggest challenges which we are solving now by using the modern technologies, which makes the technology makes everything easier a bit.
Modern technologies.
Modern technologies, yes. So now it's quite easy to verify the face every time when you are connected to your bank account. Same thing like when you are unlocking your iPhone, it's also scanning your face. So features like this can actually help facing those challenges to the industry if they want to.
To my mind, a responsible consumption means a responsibility from at least three parties. These are players, of course, gamblers. These are casinos, online casinos or offline casinos, but this is also state, because we need regulation and companies cannot regulate just by themselves. We need some kind of state support. So could you elaborate more about which states are more advanced in this regulation, which are not?
This is actually a very good question, and I hope that I won't get into any problems with this answer, because in my opinion, some of this trio of those parties which could be responsible, sometimes the most unresponsible entity in this trio is the state, and because of the regulations which are, in easy words, very stupid, it's actually forced the people to go somewhere else, to worst case scenario, unregulated markets, where some things like anti-money laundering, compliance, know your customer are not very well translated into their local languages, so good luck getting back your winnings. So this is the thing when the state, if set up I'm not anti-regulation, let's clear it from a first point. The regulations, a regulation, if set it right, is the great thing.
Can you give example? Bring example. Who is a good regulator? I'm trying to be good. The best regulator.
I would say that most developed regulations is Malta and UK. Of course,
Malta, UK.
They are the most long here.
US, no?
US, they do not allow the online.
Okay.
Or there is the land-based bill in Nevada, but not online. And also all other regulations just recognize that the tax money and the advantages of the online market, actually it's too tempting. So they are opening their markets for online as well. I can mention Denmark, Netherlands, Sweden, all very good regulations, very interesting. On the other hand, I would like to brag the Czech Republic that we are also open for online, which technically we are, but unfortunately this is a nice example of how it shouldn't be done, because the regulation here is not very smart, to be honest. Basically, when I take it from our point of view of Endorphina games, in order that we will be able to to offer our games to the Czech market, we basically must make our games worse. We must limit the maximum bet to really unreasonable amount, which but once it's not very responsible to say that the limitation of the maximum bet is a bad thing. However, in Czech Republic, you must understand it's counted that for one game means one game including the free spins. Limitation is not maximal bet, the limitation is maximal win. This is the problem, that you can actually, the players are limited in the maximum way of winnings.
Here in Czech Republic.
In Czech Republic.
Okay.
So
how it should be done?
Well, you should limit the maximum bet, of course,
Okay.
because this is the amount that you can actually lose. But if you limit the maximum win, especially when all the games are from its own nature, they must be based on the random number generator. This is also tested, and it's one of the basic requirements of each single casino games, that it shouldn't be able to actually somehow affect the result of the game, and each session is independent on the previous session or the next session. So from its nature, it's very hard to limit the maximal win, because there is some minor probability that you will have some combination of the winnings which will result into some free spin, bonuses, jackpots, and etc. So for example, if I take as example our games, the player is used to, from the Maltese casinos where our games are available, into some gaming experience which is not same what he gets in Czech Republic. So now the Czech government is trying to block all the operators who are offering the services for the Czech players. They're trying to block, they're trying to force them to block the Czech IPs, to not aim the Czech customers, etc., etc. But on the same time, they're trying to say to the Czech customers, okay, if you wanna gamble, you can gamble, but you must gamble here.
Okay.
In worse conditions. So it's like, if you wanna drive a car, you can't have a Mercedes, you can't have a Audi. Here, there's Lada. This is the best what you can get. You don't like it? Oh, so sorry, but you can't drive it.
We have only Lada. Yeah. So
Nothing
regulations.
against Ladas though.
Yeah, of
Great
course.
cars.
Yeah. So regulations in different countries are different, in spite of the fact that same industry, but different rules in different countries still, and there is no standards, no high standards that each country is trying to get.
No, unfortunately not. That would be great. One regulation, for example, for the European Union, one global regulation. It is actually something what I saw. I saw that there are some actions from some commissions. It's actually, I think it's already have been established. So we'll see what the future will bring, but it doesn't look that something like this will happen in the near future.
Do these commissions, do they invite real gambling lawyers like you to participate and to give your proposals?
Yes, I must say that they do, and well, the individuality is not really much you can, by being the individuality, there is not much you can achieve. But there is a nice organization called IMGL, International Masters of the Gaming Law, and this is the group which puts, or association which puts together the gaming lawyers from all over around the world. We are meeting at least 2 times. We are having the summits where we can meet, discuss with all the colleagues the news about the gaming market from all around the world, and we are also being invited to these regulatory meetings, and basically we are trying to shape the future of the gaming law.
Sounds like a lobby for better future in gambling. What it is for you?
It's
What
not
do you
a
want,
lobby.
guys?
It is win-win basically. This is that we are trying to say to regulators, okay, what you are doing is fine, we need regulation, but if you spend your time and resources of the taxpayers, at least do it right.
Do you try to do it your way or according to your proposals?
Well, it depends on the jurisdictions. For example, Romania, which is also, I forget to mention, Romania is a very well-regulated market.
Well-regulated.
Very well-regulated market. And for example, Malta, which was one of the first jurisdictions which offered the online license, the head of MGA, Malta Gaming Authority, was actually helping or consulting the Romanian regulators, advising them in order to adopt the good regulation or smart regulations for their Romanian market. So this is how it kind of should work. If you see that something is working somewhere, try to adapt it as much as possible to your local market. Don't try to rediscover America. It already has been done.
Yeah, let's discover Romania. Yeah, it sounds really, there is some kind of hope in your words. That I feel that we have something to go.
Maybe I'm still young.
Do you think it is possible to change image of gambling industry in the eyes of consumers, of the state, in movies, all these movies and, stereotypes, crime, gambling, crime, I don't know, whatever, it is aggression.
Well, I believe, maybe I'm naive, but I heard this is what is actually happening, that
right now
gambling is actually, or casinos is getting the nice place to be. It's not like that you are going to some gaming hall covered by a cigarette smoke where just the people are losing their social support. Hopefully it's not what is in the mind of the people if they think about the average gambler, or not gambler, Gambler, the word gambler has a very bad sound.
Connotation, yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Who's gambler? Does it mean that this is the person who is addicted to the gambling? Or is it just someone who goes to the casino every now and then, spend some money he can afford to spend, have some fun with friends over the night and ended up going home entertained?
This is the key word. This is what I wanted to hear, that if gambling is not a sin, one of a lot of human
I think
sins.
it is actually, isn't it?
It is specifically a sin.
Uh-huh.
But what
also
you guys try to do is to make it like, hey guys, it's just like movie or I don't know, entertainment. Park of amusements. Is it like this?
But this is what we are trying to tell to the wide public with this responsible gambling. This is not, gambling is not here to encourage people to lose their homes, lose their families.
To sell their souls, yeah.
Exactly, to launder money. This is not what we are trying to achieve. We are trying to entertain people. And people will gamble. It's in the human nature.
Anyway, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why not do it in the well-regulated markets when state gets its tax money, so he can spend it for good of the people. Operators, providers, all of them will get their share, and the player will have a certainty that in case of the win, they will get their money. It's to me sounds like a win-win, but this is not. Unfortunately, this is not what is happening all around the world globally, and hopefully this will change in the future.
If we cannot prevent this sin, we should take control over it, right?
Oh, that's very smart.
Thank you so much for all this interview, and guys, if you have any additional questions to lawyer, to Jakub Kolomičenko and Delfina company, and if you have any questions how to register your casino, I'm sorry that I'm suggesting all this stuff, but yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of questions about that, about legislation in specific countries. Use your opportunity, write in your comments, and probably Jakub will answer. Thank you very much, Jakub.
No worries. Anytime. Thank you for having me.